Yeah, very good afternoon to one and all. We are going to see about the economics of power generation. So a power station is required. A large amount of power station is required to deliver the power to large consumers to meet out the demand. That is the requirements. While designing and building the power station, suitable efforts should be taken to reduce the overall economy so that the per unit cost of the production is also will be reduced. So if we not reduce, if you're constructing the power plant with like more cost automatically, then it will be reflect on your tariff, because we are going to pay the tariff. So automatically the capital cost for constructing that power plant will be increasing. So this is directly proportional to your tariff. So if the capital cost is increasing directly, your tariff also will be increasing. So if you see, this will enable the electrical supply companies to sell the electrical energy at the profit, and as well as to ensure the reliable service. So what is your tariff? Your tariff will reflect your generation cost, transmission cost, and distribution cost, and as well as your profit. Okay, so whatever the business we are doing, so what we'll generally do. So generally we will do with some profit. Okay, without profit no business, if we run also, that will be the loss for us. So similarly like that, the electrical generation company also, so whatever the amount they are going to spend, they are going to add some profit on that. They are going to add the profit on that. With that, the thing, they may able to get the profit, and as well as the capital cost, then the running cost, operation cost, everything they may able to get. The problem of determining the cost of production of electrical energy is highly complex and pose a challenge to power engineers. So this is determining the cost of production of electrical energy is a challenging task. There are several factors influencing the production cost, such as cost of land, equipment, depreciation of the equipment. So cost of land. So we have to, if it is in private companies, private operated, privately owned generating companies. So what generally they have to do is they have to buy a piece of land, acres of land, to construct that particular power station. So that might be of very very high cost, even though if you are buying outskirt of city also, so the cost may be of going up. Then the depreciation of the equipment, what are the equipments, say like a generator, transformers, like depreciation is there. So generation more, depreciation will be of more, because the your generator shaft may be running, your turbine may be running. Okay, if you take like hydropower station, in the hydropower station, you have to frequently, you have to maintain the runners, that is the turbine blades, you have to frequently maintain. Then if you take thermal power station, boilers, you have to maintain frequently. Why? Because in the boilers, there may be of scale formulation, day by day there might be of scale formulation. That scale formation you have to remove. Then steel tubes is there. Then turbines, low pressure turbines, high pressure turbines, that we have to monitor. Then water treatment plant is there. Water treatment plant is there. Water treatment plant also, we have to treat that water, and if we are taking directly that to dam or seas, that is okay. Or otherwise, if you're taking the same water to the again the thermal station, you have to recycle that plant. Like the pH level of the water should be maintained constant, because while entering into the boiler, and that water becomes hard water. We have seen the hard water versus soft water, no, that the water becomes hard water. That hard water again, you are taking that to a boiler, again the scale formation will be of very very fast, even though in the normal water also there might be of some scale formation. If you're not treating the water, and same like that, you're taking that water to again to the boiler, again the scale formulation will be of most. Okay, then the depreciation of the equipment, then interest on the capital investment. Capital investment in the sense, say for example, state government, they are planning to they are planning to construct a power plant. So what they will do is they will go for a loan from the World Bank generally, or from the nationalized bank. Generally, they are not going to buy with the nationalized bank. They are going for the World Bank, loan from the World Bank. So World Bank, you can buy the loan for this infrastructural development, like laying roads, building the bridges, then like whatever the infrastructure you want, then building the outer ring roads in and around the city, then constructing the power plants, constructing the thermal plants, hydro plants, dams. With all that, you can simply go for a loan from the World Bank. So the rate of interest is very, very less if you go for the World Bank. If you're getting the loan from the World Bank, the rate of interest is very very less when compared to the nationalized bank. And also the repay you have to repay in 10 years or 20 years. That also they may adjust, depends on the natural calamities. Like the nowadays, this due to the pandemic situation, this 2 years or 3 years, they might be giving more also. But even in a nationalized bank, they don't do like that. In so simply like that, they are going for loan from the World Bank. So capital investment is very very important for constructing a power station. Therefore, careful study has to made to calculate the cost of the production. So like if you are buying some 100 crores or 500 crores to construct a particular plant, in how many years, 20 years or 30 years, with the rate of interest, so with a small interest, 1% interest or 2% interest, you have to repay that amount, like that. We have to planning is very very important here. It is called the economics. Next, the economics of the power plant. What is the economics of the power plant? Art of determining the per unit. Okay, per unit cost of the production of the electrical energy is known as economics of the power generation. So, what is the economics of power generation in the sense? The art of determining the per unit cost of the production of electrical energy. Art of determining the per unit cost of production of electrical energy is known as economics of power generation. Okay, so the economics of power generation has assumed the greatest importance in fast developing power plant engineering. Okay, the consumer will use electrical power only if it is supplied at a reasonable rate. Okay, like the LPGs and all nowadays, you are seeing practically. So after the elections, it is increasing. LPG rate is increasing, then the petrol prices are increasing. So that the rate should be of reasonable rate, like petrol price, diesel price should be of the reasonable rate, so that the consumer also will consume. If the petrol price is reaching 100 rupees, many of the middle class people will hesitate to take the vehicle. They will use some common transport, like trains, electric trains, then like EMUs, local trains, then buses, like that. That particular people will hesitate to use that. So similarly to that, the rate, the tariff should be of very reasonable, reasonable. Then only consumer can consume. Like say for example, now the tariff is around 5 to 6 rupees. If same I am charging the domestic consumer tariff as 20 rupees per unit, 20 rupees per unit, imagine 20 rupees means 5 times more than that, 5 times more than that, 4 times more than that. So 4 times more than that, I'm fixing the tariff. In that scenario, no one will consume, like many of us will not consume, but only middle class families and all, they will consume very less units. They will not simply on any loads, okay, only they will on their lights at after, like only in the evening time, then like that they may think. So that should be in the reasonable state. That is very important. Then interest, the cost of use of money is known as interest. Okay, so like simple interest and compound interest. Compound interest is there. So compound interest, if you take like it will keep on, it will be increasing, that interest will increasing like anything. So we have to collect the, because huge capital, like huge capital we are investing, like 100 crores to 500 crores is not at all a very small amount that you can simply buy. So for that, reasonable profit like 1%, 2%, 3%, like reasonable profit, you have to get it, because you are getting for 20 years. Okay, 20 years. Well, that too, government has to run. Okay, simply like that. If the government is paying only for loan itself, or interest itself, they may not able to run the government. Even many of the state government now in pandemic situation, it's in the capital, the borrowed amount is of like anything, it's going like anything, like okay. So many of the state and even the central government also getting loan, and they are going for like constructing some that buildings, parliament buildings, like that. So the thing is that they have to get the fair interest. Okay, so like the percentage of interest might be of very less. Okay, if they get the compound interest means definitely like normal private banks, private financial banks and all, financial institutes and all, they are collecting no compound interest. So that is very hectic to the government. They in that scenario, they may not go for that scheme itself. They may not go for constructing the power plant, power plant itself. They may go for some other thing. So rate of interest is very important, and the money generally borrowed from the banks and another financial institution, and the supply company has to pay annual interest on this amount. So they are not paying for monthly. So annual interest, they are paying around the 4% to 8% annual interest. Whereas if you are buying, like loans, housing loans, like that, we are like gold loans, like that we are buying, no, that is of the monthly interest, monthly. They may go for 8% interest or 7% interest, like that. It depends on the banks in which you are borrowing. And even though if the company spends some reserve funds also there will be there. So reserve funds means emergency funds should be always there with that companies. Even the government also will have some emergency funds in the pandemic situation, like the situation is very worst, any natural fire, like any natural calamities, it's coming, and it is taking over all the trees and infrastructures, so they have to develop the infrastructure development. So some reserve funds will be there at the government itself. Like a sudden natural calamity, sometimes your dam may get even damaged, and it may get busted, or it may get opened. Due to that also your power plant will be damaging, and your dam also will be damaging. So you need to repair that dam. So where we can get that fund means some it's like a public work department have some reserve fund. Only they will touching that fund in the in the extraordinary situations, they will use that fund. So that also we have to keep it in the like fixed deposit like that. So that interest also will be taken, and also we can borrow, even though we are buying with the capital cost only, like we are buying for interest only, so some reserve funds, some 1% or 2% will be deposited in the bank for reserve funds. Then like interest will be allowed for, since the amount could not be earned interest if the deposited in the bank. Um, okay, so therefore, while calculating the cost of production of electrical energy, interest payable on capital investment, interest pay on capital investment also will be included. So while taking tariff from you, they will add this interest also. So yearly interest also they will add. Why? Because if they minus that interest, so who will pay that interest to the government, or who will pay the interest to that particular generation companies? So that also they will add, and they will give that tariff. They will set that tariff. The rate of the interest depends on the market position, and it may vary from 4% to 8% per annum. So if you go for World Bank, so you're getting less than this also. Then depreciation means the decrease in value of the power plant equipment and building due to the constant use is known as depreciation. Okay, for example, you are buying a two-wheeler. So in the first year, it is giving the kilometers of 70 kilometers per liter. In the second year, somewhat it might be reducing, like 65, it might be coming to 65 or 68, 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, or it might be decreasing due to the depreciation of the engine. Okay, so engine is working all days, and maybe your tire is it is getting damaging, and many parts are getting damaging. So due to the depreciation, your kilometers, okay, your mileages also will be dropping. Similarly to that, okay, your generator efficiency also will be reducing. So initially your generator, if you take the generator, it will give the efficiency of some 80 percentage or 75 percentage, is up to 80 percentage like that. So after 1 year, that efficiency will be coming down to somewhat 75 percentage, 80 percentage to 75 percentage. Again, next year it is coming to somewhat 73 percentage. Like that, due to the depreciation, the efficiency also will be coming down. So what we have to do is, we have to go for frequent maintenance. Wear and tear losses will be there. So in the shaft, it might be due to the it will be always rotating. So wear and tear losses will be there in the shaft. So in the shaft, they will be replacing frequently, one monthly once, or okay, like that. They may be replacing that slab, or they might be going for maintenance work to that particular shaft daily, or 2 days once, like that. They may be going for frequent maintenance to that shaft. And also, in the actual practice, every power station has a usual life ranging from 50 to 60 years from the time the power station is being installed. The equipment steadily deteriorates due to wear and tear loss, so that there is a gradual reduction in value of the plant. But if you take the country like India, the still the generators are working. Um, uh, it is more like if you take all the mostly the hydro generators in India, it is of 80 years old, minimum 80 years old in the British time itself. It has been purchased and still it is running. But 80 years, 100 years old. I know some of the generators are of 100 years old generators also. It is running. That is of ABB make. Even that company itself was very shocked. So that shocked, and also they were very shocked to know that even that particular generator is still running. Why? Because we are simply going for maintenance. Whereas in other foreign countries, what they will do is they will simply replace after 40 years, 50 years. They will simply go for replacement. But we are developing country, no. So what we are doing is we are simply going for maintenance work, like a yearly once, monthly once, like that, so that the lifetime of the generator also will be increasing. So, some previously, like 10 years before, 20, 15 years before. So, what they are doing is they are even if that ABB make generators, some generators like Italy made, then like UK made machines are there, Russia made machines are there. So even if they want to get a small shaft or even bolt nuts, so entire thing is get patented, no? So you have to purchase from that particular company only. You have to get it from. You have to yeah, import from that particular company, even the shaft or even that bolt nuts and all. So if you want to import, you need to keep the order to that particular company, stating like you want this many bolts, you want this many shafts, uh, and you want this okay windings to be replaced, like that you have to give a quote. Then some service engineer will be coming to that particular place. um, then they will be replacing, like that many difficulties are there. Previous. But nowadays, what they are doing is they are maintaining here itself. They are maintaining here itself. They are making that bolt and nets, then even shafts. They are making the whole shafts locally itself, and so technological due to the technological development, they are making here itself. So that only it is running for very more years, like 100 years, 80 years. Hydro generators, if you take like name, if you see the nameplate details, 1920, then 1915, 1910, like that. It is still it is running, because if you want to replace again, you have to spend a very huge amount. Then transportation cost is there. Again, you have to take carry that generator from the airport or shipyards to the particular place. That is a very difficult. By roadways, you have to take. Then that is a very difficult task in today's scenario. So simply like that, they are maintaining. So some recently installed, recently commissioned, like power station. They are buying the new generators from like a nuclear power station. If you take then thermal power station, they are all buying the new latest generators. But even still, we are using the in India we are using the old generator. So depreciation amount is there. Okay, so depreciation, due to the depreciation, the plant has to be replaced by new one after its useful life. Therefore, a suitable amount should be set aside every year, so that by the time the plant retires, that amount Okay, the collected amount by the way of depreciation cost can be the replacement cost. Okay, so yearly once they may save some amount for the depreciation. Like, rupees or 1 crore rupees, they may save yearly. They may save in a particular generating units. So with the profit only, I am saying about the with the profit only. So if you take like one particular thermal power generating station, usually they may get the profit. Okay, with that profit only they will save that particular cost. So 50 years they are saving, no, it will come like 50 crores. So that interest also will come, so 50 crores plus interest. So that interest also, they may buy the new generators, or they may go for buying new two or three generators with that cost, like that also they may do. So whatever they may replace transformers, like switching device, like everything they may protective device they may replace. Okay, so it becomes obvious that while determining the cost of production, annual depreciation charge must be included. So in determining the production cost, depreciation cost also might be included. So that I will discuss later. Then cost of electrical energy. If you take like cost of electrical energy, that might be of fixed cost, semi-fixed cost, and running cost. There are three types of cost of electrical energy. The first is that fixed cost. The first is that fixed cost. It is the cost which is independent of the maximum demand and the unit generated. The fixed cost is due to the annual cost of the central organization, interest on the capital cost of the land, and the salaries of high officials. So the annual maintenance cost of that organization, then interest on capital cost of the land, and as well as the salaries to the high officials. Like if you take like a nuclear power plant, like those who are working in the nuclear power plant, even as an engineer or supervising or a junior engineer or technical assistant, whatever the post it may be, even the workers also, whatever the post may be, the life, those who are working in that nuclear power plant, their life must be of very big question mark. We can't say that they may if they are entering into that nuclear power plant daily, so we can't able to say like at the evening they at the one shift they may able to come out like that, because any accident may happen in the nuclear power. Apart from the other thermal and all, you can simply it may save the life. But once any accident happen in the nuclear power plant, that too in the reactor, then the life will be of very very question mark. So those who are working in the nuclear power plant, their salaries, their annual cost, their annual salary might be of very very high. It will come like per month. Normal assistant engineers, I think they're giving like 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs, 2 lakhs to 3 lakhs per month they are getting as a salaries. Why? Because the life is very very big question marks. So no, very few only will be ready to work in that particular nuclear power plant. So they are giving with a very huge salaries. But if you take like thermal power plant and hydro power plant, it is of normal salaries only they are paying. But a thermal power plant, if you take like in a shift, if you take in a shift, minimum 300 employees, minimum 300 employees to maximum of 500 employees will be entering into that particular thermal power plant. So minimum for 30,000 to 40,000 if you are keeping, So the salaries itself will be of very very challenging task to that particular generating companies. And also they have to pay with like a yearly increment, then TADA, transport allowances, dearness allowances they have to pay. Then in some like a state government organization, they are giving free quarters to employees, free park to employees, like many schemes they are giving, so that they may work very happily. Those who are working in a thermal power plant, and if you take like hydro power plants, the workers working in hydro power plant will be in the remote areas, like the dams and the valleys might be often very very remote areas from the city. If you take from the city, it will take like 45 kilometers, 50 kilometers, 60 kilometers apart from the city limit. So there also they might be giving some fund, okay, hill area development fund, like that they are giving to that particular employees, so that they may work happy. So it's like many salaries itself very very big task. So that also should be included in the fixed cost. Next thing is that semi-fixed cost. Semi-fixed cost is a cost which depends on the maximum demand, but it is independent of the unit generator. So semi-fixed cost is directly proportional to the maximum demand on the power station on the account annual interest and depreciation on the capital investment of building and equipment taxes and salaries of management and clerical staff. Okay, so salaries of management and clerical staff and the taxes also you need to pay, like municipality tax, corporation tax, then if you are keeping in into the limit to the municipalities, you have to pay the municipality tax. Then like that particular village panchayat tax you have to pay. Then like a water board, public works department, you have to pay the tax. Then water board, you have to pay the tax for utilizing utilizing that land. Then the pollution control board also, you have to pay the tax if you are operating the thermal generating units. Then a pollution control board also, we have to pay the tax. Okay, so they will be given with that like penalty tax if your limit of CO2 and NOx limits, COX, COX and NOx. Okay, so that should be in the within the limits. That gases should be in the within the limits. If you are not following that limits, then that pollution control board also will be given with a penalty tax. Then also the buying the equipment nowadays, the GST. Buying the equipment itself, even if you buy the one equipment, you have to pay the 18 percentage tax, minimum 18 percentage tax to maximum. It may depends on the equipment. Okay, so like 1 crore rupees you are buying, so 18 percentage means, so again minimum 18 lakhs. Like minimum 18 lakhs you have to pay the tax itself. Okay, so 18 lakhs you have to pay the tax itself. So that also there. So salaries to the management and the clerical staff we already discussed. Then capital investment of the building. So you have to construct the building, like thermal generating units or hydro generating units. The capital investment you need to invest on more. Further, the tax on the clerical staff depends on the size of the plant. Okay, so the clerical staff tax also there, and yearly increment. So it will be going high always. So year by year, the tariff will be becoming increasing only. So not it will be decreasing. Once it might be increasing, it might be not decreasing. So once the government is giving the subsidy only, that with that subsidy only you can it is decrease you can decrease the tariff. In many of the governments they are giving the subsidy to the tariff. Why? Because minimum like per kilogram of coal itself costing around 18 rupees, and so if you combine all the things like generation cost, then transmission cost, distribution cost, and in the distribution also some members is coming to your home. So some employees are coming to your home and collecting the and noting down the meter reading. So that employees also you have to pay the salary. Okay. And collecting the tariff. So for collecting the tariff, one office will be there. So will be there at the frequent places. So that employees also you have to pay the salary. So for collecting the tariff also some employees were involved, so that you can collect the you have to give the salaries to that particular employees also. Next, coming to the running cost. Running cost is nothing but it is the cost which depends upon the number of units generated. It is the cost which depends on the now depends upon the number of units generated. So running cost on the account annual cost of the fuel, annual cost of the fuel like coal or nuclear. That annual cost also that also we have to note down annual cost. Then lubricating oil in the shafts, then the greases, shafts and all. Lubricating oil will be always flowing through that shaft, like oil. Frequently, that oil will be flowing through that throughout the shafts. Okay, then maintenance cost is there, repairs is there. Maintenance costs, frequent maintenance we have to go for. Repairs in between. We can't expect this only the repair that will happen in the particular generating units. If you start the day, then the maintaining that repairs might be of very difficult task for that employees. Then salaries of the operating task, like running cost, like your distribution transformer is there, distribution transformer is there nearby your streets. So that distribution transformers frequently it has to maintain. So per month it has to be viscosity of the oil, then the amount of the breather in the particular distribution transformer, everything that has to be maintained frequently. But if you see due to all the things on government owned, they will be maintaining after 6 months once or 3 months once, like that they are maintaining. But rule is that 30 days once, per month they have to come, they have to maintain, they have to test the viscosity of the oil, then everything, feeders, transformers, everything they have to maintain. Then repair works also they will do in the thermal power station, like boilers, then like a coal handling plant, that conveyor belts will be there, that we have to maintain. Then steel tubes will be there. Tubes, we have to check whether any leakages in the particular tubes. Then water treatment plant also we have to taken care of. The task is then if you take like a hydropower station, pen stock you have to frequently monitor. If it is of the pen stock is made up of like iron, that also frequently the maintenance should be there. Or if it is like concrete, no problem, like leakages might be of very less. Even though 5 years once or 10 years once, they will simply replace that penstock pipe, even due to the age. Then that surge tank plant, then everything has to be maintained. Lubrication oil, then the annual cost of the fuel, everything that comes under the running cost. So this charges depends on the energy output. Running cost is directly proportional to number of units generated by the station. In other words, the power station generates more units if it will be running. It will be have higher running cost, and